Previously, on Rise of the Runelords. As our heroes recover from seeing their enemy transformed into a killer whale and watching Sanishi be bitten by said aquatic creature, they continue deeper into the mountain in search of the source of the angry ale that is plaguing the city of Whistledown. Along the way, they come across several large distillery tanks used to create the evil brew, eventually finding their way to a large cavern with a river of lava flowing through it, an opening at the top, and of course, a young red dragon awaiting their arrival on the far side. It is quickly made apparent that the dragon was expecting them, and that they had been told to brew the evil ale to send it to Whistledown by another. But, as these are wont to do, the conversation quickly escalated into fisticuffs. As the party confronts the dragon, Geisen decides that one foray into polymorphery was simply not enough, and transforms Sanishi into a mammoth. Finding her new form pleasing, Sanishi proceeds to gore the dragon, as the rest of the party whittles his life away bit by bit. Finally realizing he'd underestimated the group, the dragon takes flight, exiting out the opening at the top of the cavern. Not being a group to let an enemy get away so easily, Tanin gives Icky a bit more speed with a well-timed spell, and our feathered friend was off in hot pursuit. After taking a significant amount of damage from the dragon's fire breath, Icky manages to barrel roll through the gout of flames to land the killing blow and fell the dragon. What? The group killed a freaking dragon? They killed a dragon? Is that right? They killed a freaking dragon? Oh my, the group killed a freaking dragon. After Icky returns to the group, they manage to find the recipe for the evil, angry beer, write it on a parchment bird, and send it ahead to Whistledown before they begin their journey back themselves. Today, the adventure continues.
All right, so you guys, it is a mostly, as the sun rises, it is mostly overcast and there is a slight drizzle. So you see just like a pale light, but there's no sun, there's no warmth, and you are forced marching through a drizzle, and you just start to get soaked. About a half mile from town, you do notice hiding, just not very obvious to anyone traveling in your direction, but kind of hiding from the town. You do see a young dwarven boy, and he is looking at you, and as soon as he sees you approach, he begins to wave his hand and wave you over to where he's set up behind a large bush for him.
Yes, young Smaddock the dwarf.
I wasn't going to name him that, but maybe I should. So he kind of waves you over.
Okay, over I go.
Right.
With everyone, I assume, following.
Yep, Icky will come along too.
Calric told me to wait for you. Your paper bird, it arrived about 8 hours ago. And the brewers and the sages have been working hard, and they told me to come up here, and since they got the bird, they figured you must have survived, so they figured you'd be coming back. So
how's the town?
It's standing. It's been a rough couple of days. A couple fires to put out. I've done what we could.
We have more than just the recipe. We actually have some samples as well. Could you take us or show us where they are so we can get this extra information to them?
Calric wanted me to help guide you through town to where they're working on it right now. So keep low and quiet and follow me.
And then he begins to lead you. It's about a half mile to town, and then
Icky will do his best to stay low and quiet.
Can I
historic.
can I actually have everybody give me a stealth check?
Yes, like historically, Icky feels like he's more stealthy than he actually is. Hey, though, that's pretty legit.
Ooh. I like the new background change.
Yes, this is creepy whistle down.
Do you want us to shout the numbers at you, or are you going to ask them?
We'll go with Icky.
Icky, stealth check, rolled an 18, has a +5, is 23.
Damn. All right, Grelda.
I have a 13. Icky's feathers are loud, but his feet are not.
Geisen.
5.
Ah, there you go. Tarnin.
16.
16, and Sanishi.
So I had rolled a 9 for her, but I realized now that she has disadvantage on all stealth checks. So
That's because of her male.
it stays a 9 because the second roll was a 19. 12 for
12.
Sanishi.
All right.
And, gnomes are naturally we're pretty small, so.
Yeah.
So even though you made noise, it's not a lot of noise. No, so following the young dwarf kind of weaves you in and out, kind of going west, going east, almost seems to be doubling back a couple of times. But finally, he takes you down a small alley and turns and does a short series of knocks on a door. And then it opens and you see Calric kind of peek his old grizzled head out, and just like you see just a sigh of relief just wash over his face as he opens the door and kind of gestures you all in.
Carry on then.
All right, as you enter the room, it's just a small entryway, almost just a mud room. There's only enough room for the 7 of you in there. He kind of closes and latches the door behind you and turns around, and just you can see like just relief and elation just all over his face.
It's like, I can't believe you actually came back, lass. I'll admit, I did not expect to see any of you again.
Grella hands him the sample, says, we got these. We killed the dragon that was helping them to make it. So there shouldn't be any more coming out of the volcano.
There is a fucking dragon?
Little one.
Yeah, a big red one. It's dead, though.
Well, if it was behind this, I'm glad it's dead, but you guys killed a fucking dragon?
It was a little one.
It was a young dragon.
It was big. Fire and shit, man. It was
big enough. And Icky is the one who actually completed the deed.
Well,
Yeah.
I want to thank you again.
And he looks at Grelda and then kind of nods down at Sasha.
So, by the sound of it, you've got more skill with that than your grand did. From what you told me when you got here. Even then, I didn't expect you to be part of killing a dragon with that.
Grelda pats Sasha and goes, I'm almost as good with this as I am at making beer.
So, I've got to ask, the recipe that you sent with the paper bird, we've been working on it. Did you happen to bring back any news of the liquid that it called for? Because we've been able to put everything else together.
Armin is holding the vial.
Is that it? Looks
This
like
is what we've come to call angry water, and it's
He just kind of quizzical look on his face and reaches out and takes it from you.
angry water. Huh? I mean, if you look at the fuckers outside, I'm not surprised.
All right, and then he kind of turns and hands it to the young dwarf, who kind of scurries off.
Grelda, as he's doing that, Grelda does say, be real careful with that. It does seem to incite mania and attacking your friends, so...
I mean, if that's what they've been drinking out there, it would make sense. So, I mean, I don't know if y'all understand what you've done for us. We're gonna get this finished up and start getting it passed around to the people around town, and I'm hoping this reverses it, because either, if this lasts too much longer, either they're gonna burn the town to the ground, kill each other or starve because they won't eat or drink anything other than the ale.
Can I offer my assistance in helping to solve the problem?
Ah, lass, your assistance, your offer is appreciated, but we've pretty much got it already. We just needed the liquid ingredient that it called for. So, while I appreciate the offer, you've already done more than enough for us. I would say, if you want, I would say get back on your boat. If you want to wait, you can, to see how this turns out. I do know you were talking about being in the middle of another job, and as I said, you've done more than enough already, and I know you've taken a few days out of your time. So, from everything that our sages and our brewmasters have said, this should be it if the recipe was right. So I'm hoping, but I can't really ask any more of you.
Grelda looks extremely hesitant, and then finally nods and says, I guess we should go back to the boat. Do we have a spare cask of any of our good Whistledown beer? My compatriots I'm teaching them to have, better taste, and I would like them to have some of the best that there is.
Well, if the better taste you're looking for, you're damn right you put one in the right spot. Hold on just a moment. And he kind of goes out of the mudroom, kind of turns, you hear some scuffling around, and then comes back with, it's like for Tarnan and Icky, it's like a pony keg, but for Grelda, him, and Geisen, it is fairly large. So he kind of brings it around with both hands and just kind of hands it to Grelda. Say, try that. It's a little tweak on the frost down ale we've been making, so I think you might like it.
Grelda hefts it over one shoulder and says, thank you. We'd stay if we could, but it sounds like you've got everything handled here.
So, Icky takes a quick aside to, I think it would be Geisen, but maybe it's Tarnan. Whoever's kind of in possession of our paper birds, and just be like,
I think it's me.
Geisen, like, hey, Geisen, how many of those birds do we have left?
I took 2 in an earlier episode of our adventure, and we've used 2.
I want to say...
I have a ton of them supposedly in my inventory, but maybe that hasn't been updated.
I'm trying to remember. I think it was 10 you got originally.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds right.
It's like, so...
Yes, I have 10 in my inventory, so I probably didn't mark the one off from last time. I'll do that.
Right, because there was the one that you sent to Grelda when she kind of left.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the one you just sent back. So it would be 8. And if 2 had been given to Grelda previously, that would take you down to 6.
Well, if we have one to spare, it might not be a bad idea to give one of them to these folks as insurance, just in case something goes really wrong and they need our help. Because using that trinket I have, that ring, we could really quick come back in an absolute emergency.
That's a great idea.
Actually, I think all of us adventurers in the team should each have at least one.
I think that is a good idea too.
That's also smart. Yeah, I pass them out, which I think we have enough for everybody to have one and to give the town one.
I think so, because you had 6 left. So. All right, so Calwick reaches out and takes it. So this is what you sent us. Well, if it turns out that the recipe you gave us is not going to fix anything, I'll definitely send this out because we'll need some serious help. I'm hoping maybe when you come back through, I can give this back to you. And then before anybody turns to leave, he actually kind of leans over and put his hand on Grelda's shoulder and kind of looks down. I know your gran gave Sasha to you, but she never told you about it, did she?
No?
Aye, that's what I thought. I did not expect her to. She was honor bound not to, and she's not the type of woman who would break something like that. I can't tell you either, but you'll know what you need to know when she's ready to share it with you.
Grilda is used to honor-bound things being frustrating, and so she's not going to try and press for more information. But thank you for telling me so that I know to look for it. She kind of looks at Sasha, pats Sasha a little bit. It'll happen when it happens.
She'll know. She'll know when you're ready. All right. The dock is just around the corner and about a block up. Just stay low and get back to your boat.
One more thing.
Yes.
Well, actually, 3 more things. But first thing, turn and start shaking out a couple bags of coins. I believe this belongs to you.
What is
Or-
this?
This is roughly 5,000 gold pieces of coin that I believe was stolen from you because of this dragon's meddling.
He starts kind of going through the bag a little bit.
Is this all the money that all the townspeople have been given those bastards? The thanks I give you extends beyond just me. The whole town gives you thanks. Without this, I mean, even getting the town back, it would have taken a while to get us back on our feet. But this, thank you.
Arnon leans in with a conspiratorial look on his face. Enough to earn 2 favors from you.
I think you've earned more than that, but what can I do for
Number
you?
1, find someone who can harvest that dragon's body and get either the coin or the harvested parts to us or the Sandpoint 5, that's us, care of the Rusty Dragon in Sandpoint.
The Rusty Dragon and Sandpoint. What parts do you want off the dragon?
Whatever you guys can harvest, and it'll be distributed as best we can to help others that have been affected by this angry water and other misfits.
All right, where is it? I know you killed it, but
Icky, would you please tell him exactly where you laid it to rest?
Oh, it would be my pleasure. I know the area fairly well at this point. I've been there a few times. So, like, Icky gives some general, describes, the direct way to fly from leaving the volcano and, triangulates it with where he went to meet the party.
GPS coordinates.
all right. It's I'm not sure when. We're gonna have to make sure we get everybody back up and going.
I understand.
But
I was just hoping-
as soon as we can, we'll go and whatever's left of that big fucker, we'll see what we can get for you.
Specifically, if you can salvage the skull or at least scrub it down really well, I would really appreciate it if you could take the skull and get it to the Rusty Dragon as their new door ornament.
I'll can't make any promises, but I'll see what we can do.
Appreciate it.
Of course.
And one last thing.
Aye.
That angry water has been haunting a few friends of mine and has been the source of a lot of misdoings. Whatever you find out about it, when we come through, we need to know everything you can to point us in where the hell it's coming from so we can solve a few more mysteries. And he looks over to Icky. Any other thoughts?
Just if you end up finding you don't need anything else, you get your cure or whatever figured out. If you have no other needs for that bird, that paper bird, but you find something of note about the water, please send that information. Use the bird to send the information our way.
If we find out anything worth telling, I'll make sure to put it down and get it to you.
Thank you.
Of course. It's the least we can
And-
do for what you've done.
Then Grolda goes, "Oh, I almost forgot!" And then she takes the keg, and the person closest to her is probably Geisen. So she hands Geisen this giant keg, and then she reaches into her pocket and pulls out the all the different spices and stuff that she got while she was in the port city, as well as some handwritten new recipes that she's been working on. And he gives them to Cowrick and says, the last one there, the cinnamon beer, I haven't finished that one yet, but it's going to take us longer than I thought it was going to be to get back to town. If you end up having the opportunity to do so, there is an entire brewing set of this in stables.
And he's gonna take
from.
All right. I'll admit, this might, with everything going on, this might be the last thing I expected when you came back from killing the dragon. But well, I'll see what we can put together for it. Thank you.
I've got priorities. And then she takes the keg back and puts it back over her shoulder.
Obviously, lots. All right.
Tarnan helps Geisen off the floor.
I appreciate it.
Anytime.
All right. I guess. Thank you
Like-
again. It's wonderful seeing you, Grelda. I hope the next time you stop by, it's under much better circumstances.
If it's not, I'll help you then too.
I know you will, lass. I know you will. Be safe. I suppose we'll be seeing you. Good luck on whatever mission you were originally going on.
Thank you.
I hope it's as exciting as the dragon was.
Something
Your
that does
version
makes
and understanding the word excitement concerns me at times.
I get that a lot.
I'll bet.
All right.
So-
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Are we headed back to the boat then?
Yeah, as we walk away, Icky mutters something. It's like, she's like, shit. I wonder if they could soak the paper bird in beer. but that, just kind of like low key mutters it to himself, like maybe somebody near him caught it, but no, that I'm good to head to the boat.
All right.
As we
I'm
leave, Grelda actually turns to Tarnan and kind of jabs him a little bit and says thank you. And
welcome.
out of character, I'd forgotten that we'd gotten any money from that. So if you hadn't have done something, I wouldn't have known to do anything. So thank you.
It's kind of my job now, huh?
Speaking of forgetting things out of character, does anybody remember what the hell the original mission we were on was about?
I can actually remind you. I need to run. I do what I can to make your night better.
Justice Ironbriar, did he send us to Fort Rannoch because he hadn't heard shit from them?
He
Is that
sent
the right-
you to Turtleback Ferry because he had received a message from Turtleback Ferry saying that they had not heard from the Black Arrows stationed at Fort Rannoch in weeks.
All I wanted was to know that Fort Rannoch was correct because
Yes.
that just came out of my head. I don't have it written down. I remembered it. So I feel like Icky deserves another level for that.
I also narrowly
You did not
avoided
fulfill it, right?
renaming Justice Ironbriar to Ironfeather.
Ironfeather?
Yeah, that was close.
You people. No. Alright, so. Okay, for everybody. Back. Oh, so you head back to the boat. As you come up, at first, a couple people do pop over the side with crossbows and point them at you until they recognize who you were. And then you hear some talking, and then the plank gets shuffled over and pushed down. Come on. We gotta pull up the plank before those crazy bastards come back. So everybody comes up.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just
gonna
gonna say everybody comes up and they pull up the plank behind you.
Yeah. So Grelda is going to have one taste of the beer, but then she's going to hand the barrel to Icky because she's going to be miserable until we reach wherever we're going. So they might as well have fun with it.
Unless the captain procured something as was requested of him.
What did you request him to procure?
It still puts me to sleep, even if I'm not sick. I won't be awake.
The something to help her feel better.
Oh, yes.
The ginger water from the ginger vendor.
The ginger water from the ginger vendor. But you would know that Cowrick specifically told nobody else on the ship to leave, so they have not left the ship during this time because of everything going on in Whistledown. Not really the place to go out and try and procure things.
Didn't they sail away and come back though?
No, They said they'd wait for a couple of days for you.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So then, as you come aboard, there we go. Captain Sithreath comes over, kind of makes his way over to you guys.
So, what's the status on everything in town? Is the place gonna get burned to the ground?
Nah, that dragon's dead. Girl will fill you in, and then Connor walks off.
Sure. Did I miss something? There's no dragon?
It was just a small dragon. But they have what they need. The town will get rebuilt. Really, I mean, glad you waited, but it's fine now.
All right, so you're good with us pushing off?
Definitely.
All right, the boys will be glad to hear about that. Let's get the hell out of here.
And then just kind of runs off and starts telling people to go about their business. And within a good 20-30 minutes, you begin to make your way away from Whistledown.
May I have a request?
Yes.
What does the beer taste like?
I don't have a token with vision in this scene, buddy.
Well, you hold on a minute, and I'll give you some.
I'm already digging the ship
There we
noise.
go.
That's oh my god.
Oh,
That's
this is
so
so much
fancy.
cooler than Roll 20.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh wait, it's it's afternoon. Okay. Okay, so the beer that you were given, it has a. Oh, you might want to turn the ambient sound down just.
No, you said this was okay earlier. Fuck you.
A little bit
There you
too
go.
realistic here.
There you go. It has an almost kind of spearmint flavor to it, an underlying one, and then on top of that, there is a bit of nutmeg, and it's actually a lighter beer. It's not a super dark ale, but it's more refreshing than anything.
I appreciate you going to these lengths for me, by the way.
You're welcome. Well, like I said, you missed it
we
last time,
did
but
you
I
just decide the flavor just now, or had you already thought about what flavor the beer would be?
No, I just decided that just now.
Oh.
No, the list of ingredients that we did last time, that I actually looked up ahead of time. All right.
Yeah, that was a really weird beer. That was great.
All right, so you are on the boat. You are underway. Anything in particular you guys would like to do before your first night's rest? It's going to take you, it'd be about 4 more days from where you are to Turtleback Ferry. So is there anything you would like to do on any of those times in particular?
I know that Sanishi will find somewhere to practice her flouting. Whether or not the crew enjoys it.
Actually, I would say Assassin's Creed Odyssey has taught me that singing while rowing is the most important thing you could possibly be doing on a boat. So I like to imagine that she's beginning to just play along with them.
But they might be singing, but they're not rowing.
You know what? I'm in control of Sanishi right now. Sanishi is going to learn sea shanties.
And I am sure they will teach her some colorful ones before this trip is done.
And she will eventually modify them into murder shanties.
Yes.
So.
Perfect. I need to hear one.
Or she'll murder them.
I need to hear one.
Like 15 men on a dead man's chest is already halfway to a murder shanty, right?
Right? Exactly.
15 men in a bloodbath.
I have it on good authority. Sanishi is she's one of the things that she's going to be working on the ship is her ballad about the time that she fought a whale in a volcano.
And I look forward to hearing that song. All right, then. If there's nothing else that anybody would like to do,
Gyson would definitely take some time to check out the rope that we found.
Oh yes. Well, you would have enough time to sit down and spend an hour with it to identify it, and it did already pass to you what it was, so...
I have a question about that. I have a ritual spell called Identify. What's the difference between that and the normal identifying?
Identifying takes an hour of sitting with an object. The ritual Identify you can do in 10 minutes anywhere. Whereas,
But otherwise, it's the same.
otherwise you
it's
would need
just
to
a
sit with
faster-
it. It's the same thing. It just, like, it takes an hour per object. So if you have a couple of them, you can figure them out in, like, 20, 30 minutes. Or if you were in, like, you wouldn't want to sit in the middle of a dungeon with a magic object for an hour trying to figure out what it is. But
Sure.
if you were in the middle of, like, going through a dungeon, you could take 10 minutes and figure out if it's something you would want to use for the rest of the dungeon, kind of thing. So
Okay.
it's definitely, it's like, in a time like this, it's a waste to use it instead of just spending an hour with the object, but when you're in the middle of something, it can help.
Okay, that makes sense. And then Geisen would also find a spot kind of on his own to take care of his thing.
Well, since you are on a boat, your best bet is going to be in the evening, next to, like, a lantern or something like that, because there aren't going to be large
Sure.
bonfires in the middle of a boat.
Mhm.
So, with that, wait for it. As evening comes, wait,
No, oh.
lights. There you go. The lights came on.
Wow.
Alright, so as evening comes, Geisen would make your way over to one of these lanterns on kind of, you know, on the outskirts of the boat and kind of do your thing.
That's very impressive.
Yeah, I love Foundry. Alright,
This is hot.
it's the best. Yes, Bill. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bill.
Tarnan's going to spend a lot of time with his crossbow, deciding that maybe he's getting a little too close to the action if he's trying to help people and learn to be a little bit more not in the middle of the thing that may be killing us. And he's also going to see about identifying what the hell that vial of poison was that he got from the kobold nail trap.
Alright, that, after you spend a few hours kind of playing around with that, you realize that is
How many
just...
crew members did I kill with it by accident?
What was that? None.
I said, how many crew members did I kill with it by accident?
None. It is actually a
Excellent.
basic, it is more of a basic type of poison. You can put it on either a weapon or a bolt of some kind, and it would, it adds a d4 damage, and it has a chance to poison the creature. For 10 rounds, I believe it is.
If when I use it, do I need to tell you like 1d4 poison plus con roll plus what?
You would tell me that you were adding it to the weapon. You would
Yep.
make the attack. Then you would roll the 1d4 poison, and the
Yep.
creature would need to make a Constitution saving throw, or be poisoned.
Is there a save number you want me to remember or no?
With that, we'll go with. I mean, it's a basic poison, so we'll go with 16.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, we'll do 16.
Then I have a question. Would Geisen have any interested in looking at the dragon bits?
Bits and bubbles.
The bits and bobs of the dragon? Or,
Yeah, I think he would be interested in kind of studying them a little bit.
And then I think you also have other spells in a book where you're like slowly memorizing them. I could be wrong there.
I think I'm good for the moment. But
I
that's
think
a
you
good-
already transferred over because that's where you got your most recent spell from.
Yeah, I didn't think he did all of them though. I don't know.
He didn't transfer all. He picked a couple that he wanted to spend time to transfer over.
It's just with 4 days. That might be something. If Geralda has any time where she's not super thick, yeah, pretty much. She's basically going to spend that time whispering to Sasha because now she's convinced that Sasha really can hear her. Like before, she was pretty sure, but now she's certain. So, sweet nothings to her beloved Sasha.
Okay. Then actually, on the second night, everybody goes to sleep. Grelda. Alright. You feel your breath begin to slow as sleep finally takes you. The weariness you feel in your muscles slowly relaxing away as you seem to sink into your bunk. That slow sinking feeling you've gotten used to on the boat ride so far, almost comforting in its reliability. But you feel yourself lowering further and further into the bunk, and somewhere in your mind you realize that something's off. You try to will your body to wake up, to move, but your body doesn't seem to respond. Fear begins to well up in you, but before it can overtake your senses, you feel a sudden drop, as though you've fallen through the bottom of your bunk. Your eyes open suddenly, unsure what to expect. But what you see when your vision focuses removes the fear that you had felt welling up inside of you. You see a hearth, though you only feel its warmth as a memory. Standing in front of it, completely focused on the axe in her hand, face overtaken by awe, you see yourself as you were all those years ago. You know this place, this time. Your grand had just given you the axe that you would wield from then on. But this vision doesn't seem to be focused on you. Instead, you seem to be directly behind two women who stand across the room from this child and her new axe. You look between them and see one familiar, her face filled with love, your gran. The other is a sage of your clan. Her name you don't recall. Though you know who she is, you only recall seeing her a couple of times in passing. It takes you a moment to realize that they are speaking to each other in hushed tones, low enough so that young Grelda can't hear.
I know what we're told should happen, but are you sure you're making the right choice? That it should go to her?
The sage asks pointedly. You watch as your grand's face turns and looks at her directly in the eye. The stern look on her face, one you've seen many times in your life.
You know as well as I do that the wielder doesn't have any say in who it goes to next. The axe chooses, as it's always done. I spent years not knowing when the dream would come, but it finally happened last night. There can be no doubt. It chose Grelda. It hasn't made a wrong choice in all these generations. Why should we question it now? It will let her know what she needs to know when it feels she's ready, and not a minute before. Your gaze quickly moves back to your younger self as you heft the axe into the air, a look of pure joy spreading across your younger face. It will be named Sosha, you hear as your vision begins to blur and then flicker. You blink and find yourself in a cottage, standing next to a woman on a bench. She is sharpening an axe that you'd recognize anywhere. You've had it longer than anyone in over 500 years. You have to pass it along.
The remark comes from an elderly man standing a few feet away from the woman. As she lifts her head and meets his gaze, you can see the familiar face of your gran, though decades younger than when you first saw her.
We've been through this before. The axe will tell me when it's time, when it's ready to be passed along, and it will show me who it chooses to wield it next. As it has always been. I will not break that. I will not simply choose someone. It will choose. And when it does, I will listen.
Your vision blurs again, even quicker than before, and you feel your eyes beginning to sting. Blinking, you see your gran, even younger still, standing protectively in front of a group of small children, covered in blood, swinging the axe and cutting 3 goblins in half. Your vision blurs yet again, and your eyes follow the familiar axe in the hand of an unfamiliar person, being wrenched out of the carcass of a large mountain cat twice his size, before he turns and runs towards another group that seems to be bounding towards the village. Another blur, another place, another person. The same axe tucked in his belt, blood dried on its sharp edges as he walks away from what must have been a pitched battle, back towards a quiet village. Over and over the images appear and then blur away, each staying a shorter time than the last, each showing you an unfamiliar face in an unknown location. You feel yourself moving back through time, generation by generation, wielder by wielder, the one constant through them all, the axe. One last blink, and when you open your eyes, you are laying on your bunk, the sound of the river and the night outside surrounding you. As your hand squeezes, you feel the familiar texture of Sasha's handle in your grasp, not laying against the wall beside your bunk as it had been when you laid down to rest. But something about Sasha feels different. You sit up, trying to place what it is, and as you focus on the texture, the feeling of the weapon in your hand, you hear something soft, like something whispered across a crowded room, but you understand each word as though it had been spoken directly into your ear.
You are worthy.
And if you will go to your There you go. If you will go to your equipment, you will now notice that you have a weapon named Sasha that has magical properties.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're muted, Tammy.
Sorry, I'm refreshing to see if I can find it. But when did I get a potion of stone giant strength?
Oh, you've had that for a while.
Yeah. I should probably remember I have these things.
Probably.
That's probably a big one. All right. Anyway, 1d12 plus 5 slashing. +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this weapon. When you use reckless attack, nominate one creature you can see. That creature does not gain advantage against you. Ha! Oh damn! It's like Sasha knows how I like to play this character. While wielding Sasha, you always know the direction of the closest source of alcohol. That's the best thing. I love Sasha so much.
All right. Then. All right. So. There we go. So that same evening, Tarna, as you lay down to sleep, you close your eyes as you wrap the blanket around yourself, happy to allow your body to melt into the bunk after your adventure, exhausting both physically and mentally. You can feel your tense muscles beginning to unwind, letting the stress out of them, the sound of the river guiding you towards restfulness. It's then that you notice that the feeling of melting into your bunk that you've become so used to seems to be missing. Instead, you are experiencing a feeling of floating. Your body seems to pull up and away from your bunk, the blankets falling away. You expect to feel a chill. You expect to feel the chill of the cabin hit you, but what you are greeted with is a subtle feeling of warmth washing over you. The initial feeling is reminiscent of being submerged in a steaming hot bath. The heat almost becoming overwhelming, yet almost immediately it switches to a pleasant, relaxing sensation. And then your eyes finally open. There we go. Oh.
I don't have permission to see the screen.
Oh, completely ruined everything again.
No tokens with vision.
There we go.
Whoa.
Your eyes finally open to show you a sea of blackness broken only by waves of flames dancing around you, lighting up your vision. The flames move in beautiful waves almost like that of the sea, flowing in all directions at once, overlapping and crashing into each other almost soundlessly, until they begin to coalesce, finally taking shape, a form you've seen before. A bird of pure flame, beautiful beyond words, even to one who has been through such turmoil in his life as you. The creature moves closer to you, floating more than flying, its size easily dwarfing your own, the flames crackling as you find yourself unable to look away. The creature begins to turn its head, looking at something unseen in the darkness beside you. Your head turns of its own accord, following the creature's gaze. With no warning, the blackness, until that moment only illuminated by the flames, begins to rush towards you, almost as if you were falling sideways. A village comes into view, rushing up to meet you in the blink of an eye. After a moment to orient yourself, you realize that you are looking down at Whistledown. You catch movement, a small group traveling swiftly yet quietly along an alley. As they turn a corner, they are met by a single man, his eyes with a faint red glow to them. You see, but do not hear, as the group tosses a bottle to the man and backs away, ripping the top off. The red-eyed man drinks from it greedily, then tosses the empty bottle onto the ground beside him. He takes a single step forward before he begins to sway, his hands quickly moving to his head. A moment later, he raises his head and looks at the others, his eyes showing no signs of the faint red glow. The sensation begins again, but you are quickly moving away from the scene. Your vision blurs with the speed of your retreat. Your gaze moves again back to the flaming creature in front of you, its focus already on you.
The innocents have been saved. Your chosen path is one of light. So many questions you have, so many wants. Ask one.
Are you going to need another 20
Ask
minutes
one.
now, bud?
Yeah, pretty much. I have no idea. What questions, Sean? What questions do you think Tarnan has that he would ask?
I can think of several, but
Please, spit them out. Maybe it'll jog something.
who killed my beloved?
I know who
The
killed
source of the anger water.
Where is the man who killed my beloved?
Where is the man? Yeah, like yeah. Or even like, what do you think I should know? Like, you could even just ask them to use their knowledge to tell you what they think you should know. Like, I don't know. You could be sneaky about
That's a
it.
good idea.
Potentially, it's also potentially a horrible idea. I just want to throw that out there.
Will
You could
it or will
ask,
it will
like, how can I-
feathers?
Glow with flames like you do.
No, that's not.
What is
Yeah.
the average airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?
You know, I briefly considered what would Grelda ask, and she wouldn't ask what's the perfect beer recipe because she feels like it's her responsibility to come up with that on her own.
Yeah. What's the secret of hiding? No.
What's the secret of hiding in the middle of a room?
Will I ever be as good?
Oh, if Tarnin could hide in the shadows of his companions
How do I hide behind Outlander at all times?
while being completely visible to everyone in the room?
You already promised me the one person I have to hunt. If I ask you where they are, that's wasting a question. Or making your bargain smaller. I will ask you a question to guide me on the question that I want to know of you. Knowing me as you do, what would you ask you at this moment?
Sean, your face, that is such this is hilarious.
I don't have the wisdom and the foresight that you do. So I guess I'm expecting guidance. What would you ask you?
When will I have my revenge? Where will I have my revenge?
Did you just waste your question to get a question back? Or
With no answer to the question.
He got an answer to his question.
The interesting thing is, that revenge is meaning less and less to me. And these people are meaning more. Is that part of your plan?
You've already asked your one question, but you are walking down the path of light.
And why do I still feel, why does the darkness still well up in me so much? Why is it so hard for me to follow your path?
To change oneself is never easy.
You seem to do it quite easily.
I have not changed since I was created. I exist to lead others down the correct path, the path that they should be on, the path that I have seen that you should be on if you're willing to walk it. These things that you notice, these things that make revenge less sweet than it used to be, these are the boons of following this path. You have changed. You have worked to stay on the path of light and not let the darkness creep back in. And for these things, I will hold up my end of our bargain, though perhaps not in the timeline that you wish it would. But for those who follow our path, certain things can be shown, And with that, its wings begin to stretch out to its side, and they begin to wrap around you. And you feel the heat of the flames kind of begin to flow over your body, but not pain that you'd normally associate with being wrapped in flames. Your vision begins to fill with red, yellow, oranges of the flickering fire before the colors begin to swirl together. Your eyes take a moment to focus on the movement, but when they do, you see something coalesce. The inside of a cavern. A large red dragon sitting on a slightly raised portion of stone floor, surrounded by roiling magma. A scene you saw very recently in person. However, watching from above, you see that the dragon is not alone this time. Standing in front of it is a figure, shrouded in a long, flowing robe of deep purple, its head covered by a matching purple hood, and its face hidden by a flat, white mask, completely featureless. The dragon begins to speak.
Tell your master this task will be simple enough. Though I don't understand why you use this brew instead of allowing me to simply fly there and raze this town to the ground.
The dragon speaks with pride, but you notice its stance shows a kind of deference to the figure standing in front of it.
My master wants the city to suffer.
Does he recognize the voice?
In a way. You recognize the voice, but it's not exactly the same as it was before. It's harsher, and though the larynx have been damaged in some way, but as you listen to it speak, you are able to pick out the voice you're looking for.
Flame of vengeance?
Well,
I also worry that you underestimate your power in the city's defenses. The city's suffering will bring the group to you, and my master bids you handle them how you will.
You watch as the dragon's mouth opens to a hideous smile.
They are causing that much of a problem for your master, are they?
The figure raises his hand, the sleeve of his robe falling away to reveal a white glove.
A mere nuisance, much the same as a fly is to a mare. But even flies need to be swatted from time to time. Do as my master has bidden, and the reward promised you will be delivered. You've seen but a taste of his power.
The dragon bows his head slightly.
How will I contact you to inform you of my success? There is no need for that.
The hooded figure raised his arm as he spoke. A dot appears to float behind him, stretching. In an instant, it becomes a horizontal line taller than he is, before opening sideways, revealing a doorway, a portal.
My master has ways of knowing what is happening where he wills it. We will contact you when you've shown success.
The cloaked figure takes a step backwards into the portal as the dragon's head bows once again. The figure disappears from view as the portal quickly closes and blinks from existence. The dragon's head rears up quickly and lets out a loud, booming laugh. A laugh filled with malice and intent. A laugh that resonates through your body, the vibrations overtaking you, causing you to close your eyes. Then, when you open them again, you are laying in your bunk, a light sheen of sweat covering your skin. The sound of the boat on the water greets your ears.
Okay.
Do you have to roll to see if you pooped yourself or not?
No.
Okay.
And
Not at all.
as you and Grelda both wake up around the same time, you realize that it is in the morning. You are 2 days on your journey so far, and you have about 2 more days to go until you reach your destination. If anybody would like to... You have 2 more days to do whatever your characters would like to do over that time.
So, for a good chunk of that time, Icky's kind of up. Okay, sorry. Your stuff froze, and I was like, "Oh no, we need to fit."
Like, oh my god.
So Icky would be spending a good chunk of that time, basically just kind of circling masts, doing some monk training stuff,
Doing some monk
perhaps
shit.
Annoying the sailors up in the crow's nest for whenever he's striking the mast. But
I assume he's drunk for that first day because he did have that keg of beer.
Oh yeah, no, he would have partaken quite celebratory, and anybody who would listen, he'd be telling them about it. It was kill the dragon.
So for the first day, when you're extremely intoxicated, all of the crew members are very they're hungry to hear this story.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the second day, they're like, "Yeah, he killed it. It was great. He killed a dragon. He fell. Yeah, all right." And
so once it starts being aware that people are getting less interested, like turn it. Let me see one of those teeth, buddy. Let's see the teeth. Let's see the teeth.
What day is this? Sean, is this after Tarnan has had that vision?
Yes, this would be the morning after Grelda had her dream, Tarnan had his dream, you woke up. This is day 2.
Okay.
So as soon as Icky does that, Tarnan scoops out all the dragon claws, hands them to you and say, "There you go, buddy." Slaps him on the shoulder. "Do what you want with them," and walks off.
So, that strikes Icky as not quite right, but it was so he needs to finish his flair with the crew. He's see, pulled this from the beast direct after laying it to waste.
Sean, can you tell me how big? Because I'm sure we got the most impressive teeth when we were collecting teeth. How big is a dragon's tooth?
With how big a dragon is, I would say a dragon's tooth is easily 2.5, 3 feet. It's
This makes your flight back bearing dragon stuff even more
just
impressive.
a super heavy backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Nicky, of course, makes mention of this as he's
got him under his arms.
And I had to carry all this shit back myself.
And their interest does perk up for a little bit. It goes from 100 the night before to 40, back up to 50, and then back down to 30.
Right.
That's pretty neat.
As it starts dipping at all, he's and I'm gonna leave you all to ruminate on the implications of all of this. But goes to catch up to Tarnan.
He's at the bow of the ship.
So he goes up to Tarnan. He's like, "Hey, thanks for the assist there, bud. You can have these back. I know you've got use for them. Thanks. Yeah, no, I'm. That I think that'll do.
He's smiling. You haven't seen him smile this relaxedly in quite a long. In fact, perhaps never.
I would say never. Not to
So-
this extent.
So does he So does Icky if I need to?
You don't have to roll perception.
No, I would say if Tarnan is saying that it's that obvious that Icky would.
It's
Icky would pick up on it. Yeah, it wouldn't be something you have to go out of his way to notice.
Okay, so you're all right, well, okay, great. Well, yeah, no, of course I'm done. So, I know you've got use for these. Please take them back. You seem like a man with a burden shifted, if not lifted.
An apt description. Shifted but not lifted. Well put.
What, may I mean, I of course don't want to impose, but what's, may I ask?
I've told you before, the one other bird that impresses me more than you, right? My patron.
Yep.
Obi. And, now that he's not afraid to show magic. In his hand, with his prestidigitation spell. Wait, where is it? I want to make sure I got that. I'm thinking of a different character, aren't I? Fuck.
You might be, I don't know if Tarnin has prestidigitation.
Yeah, he took that as his new cantrip.
Oh.
He creates a tiny finger in his hand, and you recognize it when you squint down. That's Tarnin. And suddenly there's a large flaming bird next to him. That's what she looks like. Isn't that fucking amazing?
I'm impressed. Boy, wow.
He closes his hand and it goes away. Our paths are more intertwined than I thought. That one bastard that I will never forgive, that I so hungered for, and you might have caught that it was past tense. So hungered for, vengeance on, was speaking to that dragon before we slayed it. And whoever he serves is the one that the dragon was answering to.
So
we're on the right path.
We've
Finding
s-
him
we've
and
struck.
to finding that angry water source.
That's good news. How do you know that, though?
She showed me. I could probably do a. You know what? Let's get the entire group together. Let's go to meet my cabin in 5. He pats him on the shoulder again and damn near skips his way to his cabin. Not
Watching
quite
you
Sean's-
villain
not
pet
quite
your cat
Sean's
during that,
dumb.
Nate, was hilarious.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What?
Watching you villain pet your cat during that was hilarious.
How do you know that? Oh, sorry, Bill, did you say my name?
Yes, I said not quite Sean's jaunty little return to the mic,
Oh.
but
Love it.
No, I'm sorry. That's exactly what I pictured when you said it. I'm sorry.
That's to the canon. All right, so then everybody is gathered, and if everybody's willing, everybody meets together in Tarnin's cabin.
Grelda has shined Sasha up to a degree that Sasha is not normally shined, but I don't know if anyone would notice that.
Sanishi is on the edge of being ready to play some background music to whatever is happening. She's not doing it, but she's ready. She's like,
She's clearly constructing the ballad of the tale of the story of the Red Dragon.
yeah. As I'm sure as Tarnin begins to speak, she's going to be trying to find like the cadence, like the beat to it, to like.
Well, I will say Icky has a passive it's a passive insight of 15, and Tarnin has a passive insight of 14. So I think you guys would be able to notice some of these things fairly well.
And at this point, like we know each other.
Yeah, I was gonna say you know each other. I would say at this point, if there's anything obviously out of the ordinary, you guys would be able to notice it, unless you were distracted on your own for some reason. But if you weren't personally distracted, you would notice these little changes.
Okay. With that, like, since we've got a little bit more time on the boat yet, without giving away some future plans, Icky would. I think Icky would definitely, especially given what you're saying, Sean, take notice that like Sasha's looking extra dapper today.
And Geisen is wearing the robe that we found
All right.
in that safe.
wait, remind me, did we already discover what it did?
Geisen he did not tell anybody.
The party doesn't know.
What I need to know though, because a robe normally has a hood, do you still have the top hat with the bourbon bowl
This
beneath
robe
it?
does not have a hood.
All right. Okay.
So yes, the top
Most
hat with the
important
glasses
thing.
is still present.
Okay.
So I guess just like, as we're all in here, Icky would just like kind of like look at the two of you, and make notice of like Sanishi, like with her flute at the ready, and it's like, see, we're all, like many of us are looking a little extra fancy today.
And Geisen looks kind of distracted, kind of peering at the road, because it kind of shimmers, almost like flames. I think that's what it said. Is that right, Sean?
It leaves a trail of faux flames behind it.
And it glimmers slowly, with slowly shifting embers.
There you go.
Nice.
Grelda actually, so Grelda noticing that would actually probably like give like a, okay, look to him that he can choose whether or not he wants to pursue, because I know things.
Well, we should probably let the person who summoned us speak.
All right, so you all end up gathering in Tarnin's cabin. Everybody noticing these little differences in everybody's appearance and the way you're carrying yourselves today.
Now I have 3 things to share. Number 1, Tyson, what did you learn about that road?
I don't know how to describe in game terms.
You can just say it. It's really hard to describe magical items benefits in like in-game real world terms. So you can just straight up say that. That's fine.
Okay, so while wearing it, again, the following benefits: you can withstand temperatures as low as negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit without any additional protection. My Constitution increases by 2. I have advantage on Constitution saving throws. I have resistance to fire damage, and I can walk on lava as if it were solid ground.
Jesus.
I can't like stop on it. If I end my turn on it, then I take damage as normal.
Wow.
And then it also does the cool flame stuff.
It like shimmers in flame, and then it leaves small motes of flame behind it as it sways. They're harmless, but it just looks like little flame waves in its wake.
And Grelda can't help but like swat at a couple of the little like ember things, like despite the fact that they're clearly not real.
Yeah, like it every now and again will like kind of like wave a little bit of wing, like what he thinks is subtly, but probably isn't. Like to try to like just like see if if he can affect the flames at all. Just, like,
see, you need to change Ollivander to a cat and just have it like follow you, like swatting at the imaginary flames all the time. All right, I'm sorry. So, continue.
But yeah, so that's what I found out about the road.
That's
Excellent. Okay.
That's really that's hot. That's hot.
There, now the old Tarnin's back. Thank you, Icky.
Yeah, Tarnin was looking really chipper and cheerful, and now he has that like, what am I doing with my life? These people look that I know and love, and really just expect from Tarnin.
Guys, 2 points. Number 1, don't burn the ship down. Number 2, next time I send Icky on a suicide quest to kill a dragon, you're going with.
Is he going to carry me?
Can he be thrown at the dragon?
I mean, I was
what is
nobody tosses a gnome.
What's the average move speed of a gnome laden Aarakocra?
Aarakocra.
I'm curious. I'm curious. As soon as Geisen said nobody tosses a gnome, does Sanishi say, "What? Yes, they do," and toss it?
No, Sanishi's become a little bit more disciplined now, so she's more of just kind of like an internal dialogue of like,
I could toss him,
throw him so far.
Yeah,
Totally throw a gnome.
But I'm not gonna.
Turning
if
over a new leaf.
Up again, she's tossing you. You're going with.
Character growth.
Yeah. That's another achievement point in
Yeah.
character growth level 3.
Okay. Sasha's looking pretty spruced up. That is true. Any special occasion on that?
Grelda smiles like genuinely like a deep happy smile like you've never seen except when she's murdering things, and she pats Sasha and says, "She chose me."
Okay. I think I can relate somewhat. And I'd like to step up to the next thing. My patron has given you a bit more ability, and I'd like to try something on you, Rhoda, if you don't mind. We didn't manage to stop and get anything to protect you from, well, how you feel when you're on a ship. But I want to see if one of my new talents can at least give you a moment's rest. And I
I'll
cast.
take it. I don't care what it is. Let's just do it.
I reach out and put my hands on either side of her face and cast Lesser Restoration. It doesn't specifically say vomiting and nausea. However, it can cure diseases or conditions affecting it.
Even though it specifically calls out like the conditions, considering this is RP out of combat, I would totally let this work. I would totally let this cure seasickness.
And you're gonna have to tell me how long it lasts. Maybe until she gets on the boat again or something.
I would say a good 24 hours. We'll just say for seasickness in particular, we'll take this piece by piece, piecemeal it. But for seasickness
Absolutely.
in particular, I would say a good 24 hours. Grelda no longer feels the effects.
He
Yeah,
smiles
since
and takes
this
his hands
is
off.
RP related, yeah.
And
There are too many people in this room for me to do like a victory twirl with Sasha, but you can tell she's like wanting to do that, and she goes, "That's amazing, thank you."
I'm glad it worked. Excellent. Thank
And
you.
she starts breathing easily for like the first time because she's been doing like this like deep like
Shallow.
shallow like trying not to like yeah. Is there any more of that beer left?
I don't know, Icky, is there?
You return to normal.
Probably not. 2 days later, I wouldn't expect it.
Yeah, like he would at least hang on to like the last 2 tankards worth to be able to have one for himself and one for Grelda.
Well, thankfully it's a spearmint-based beer, so she swishes her teeth with it.
Who needs to brush their teeth? Let's drink.
Good point. And then he produces the hand-sized version of him, with a tiny itty-bitty guy, and says, "My patron," and now the oversized bird of fire is next to him, dwarfing him. No pun intended. Dwarfing him. Has shown me this, and then he continues to cast prestidigitation and going through a recanting of everything that you guys already heard when Sean explained it to me.
Okay.
I had to check. I did use the term dwarfing. So, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I had to double check to see if I actually used that term or not.
Yes, you did.
I did. Alright, so yes, everybody now knows the dream that Tarnin had.
Do we know who that is? Like, I don't think I actually know the person that the dragon was talking to.
You don't.
Well,
So
you don't.
I want to ask.
Okay, so I want to give since it's been so long, we've been playing for almost 3 years. I want to make sure people don't miss anything. We have almost been playing this campaign for 3 years. We're closing in. While you don't know the person that Tarnin knows, the description of the person you saw is the same description. Oh no, I'm sorry. Grelda would know. Tarnin would know, because Tarnin was the only one in the meeting when the description of the Ascended was given to you. said he couldn't tell you whether it was the person you were looking for, but he described him as wearing purple robes and a very creepy white mask that had no features on it.
I'll make sure that narration gets to everyone as well.
Okay. Nobody else was there, but you were when that information was relayed.
Is the shade of the information where this is also the person, I think, who murdered your beloved, also available to the group?
Yes, if you ask. He doesn't hide it, but he doesn't directly spit it out. So if anyone is curious enough to, is this the same person? Then absolutely.
I don't know that I would have enough dots to connect to ask that, but I would definitely ask, is there any way, like, how do we find this person to kill them? Let's do some murder.
Yeah.
Well, yes, because I mean,
Okay,
this is the person who turned the dragon on Negrelda's hometown.
Yeah. No, and I'm all about fucking that bitch up.
Also,
Almost
Grandma does make a note that, I don't know how she would say it exactly, but like, I kind of love that they're afraid of us. Look at them being afraid of us. They set a trap for us, and we murdered their dragon.
Yeah, Tommy said with almost a giddiness in his voice. I have no idea what's next.
Get down.
But we're on the right path, and that's good enough. The answers will come. Clearly, you are the people I'm supposed to be around. I'm glad I've made the changes I have. I'm glad we're still together. And despite the work and effort that we've got to take care of to reach our goals, I'm glad to be with you guys.
So Grella then holds out a fist and says, Sandpoint 5!
10.5.
Sandpoint 5.
I guess it's official.
Well, yeah, because now I can start coming up with all sorts of corny SPF jokes. That was my plan the entire time. I mean, he's talking to a bird that could burn him. He's going to need some SPF.
That dragon? Your SPF is over 9,000?
Oh my God.
Well, no, not all of us. Just Geisen with his fancy robe.
Looks like the other SPF.
So in character, Grelda is interested in what's going on in Tarnin's life.
Yes.
So, and we've had several like heart-to-heart conversations. Would there be enough for her to go on to ask you, like, it seems like there's more to this person than just the fact that they set the dragon on us?
Probably. For Icky, definitely. Having seen his reaction.
I was going to say, like, Icky's not one to press for sensitive information, especially in such a public setting. But
now that we're just in a room alone,
yeah. Since you're like kind of like opening it all up, I feel like he would be like, so is this like we've talked about this person that you're?
Yeah, that's him.
And so not only is this your target, but this is somebody who's been wreaking havoc in now the hometown of our Grelda and Sasha, and really kind of sowing the seeds of chaos that we've been fighting since Standpoint.
And clearly has a connection to your angry water.
Grelda kind of like grips Sasha extra tight and then like takes a deep breath, turns to Tarnin and says, when we meet this person, do you want me to leave them alive for you?
I honestly don't know the answer to that question anymore, because I mean, make no mistake, there's no way in any realm or any reality that this fuck gets out of this encounter alive. I mean, if you thought that, you haven't been paying attention. But I don't know that I have to do it anymore.
If the most important thing is that they die for sure, we all go for the kill.
And I think I'm okay with that. And that's like this huge weight that's been lifted from me. And I feel like could just about outfly Icky now. I mean, I wouldn't go chasing a fucking dragon, but
we can suss that out once we're off this boat. But Tarn, I can tell you that this claw strikes for you.
Thank you.
Will.
DM question: the whole like purple robes, white mask thing. Would that ring any bells to Geisen? Like, is there I don't know, a group of people he would have heard of that dressed that way? Or...
No, it wasn't. It was specifically to the Ascended and just the way that this person dressed. So it would like Geisen would know about it now if Tarn shared that information, but it wouldn't make you think of anything beyond that.
And there wouldn't have been anything in the books that I read either.
No.
Okay.
Because I guess it depends on how much of Tarnin's conversation with Fenton he shares. Because Fenton kind of told Tarnin how long the Ascended has been there, the fact that the Good Neighbors used to be a spoke of the Iron Ring. Like, I guess it really depends on how much of that information Tarnin shares, because he hasn't shared any of that conversation previously.
But I feel like Geisen has read all of the books we've had in hand and might have put some pieces together.
The Ascended and the Iron Ring are more recent. Fenton had said they're only within the past 3 or 4 years, whereas the books that Geisen read were thousands and like 10,000 years old. So while those talked about the ritual that the Ascended was trying to do, they wouldn't mention anything about the Ascended themselves. So it really would depend on how much of that conversation Tarnin would share.
I don't think he would have shared all of it because that wouldn't seem overly important to him at the time. And now it's
up until this point.
Yeah, now it's really not his focus anymore anyway. So it's not like he's holding it back, but unless someone gives him a reason to start spilling more
I guess
information.
it would really depend on if, like, starting to piece these things together, if anybody would have any questions that would lead them down that road. If not, that's fine. But
he looks at Geisen now and says, "What ties you to this? Something is... I mean, Icky and I are a bald neck deep in this. Grubby is as well. What ties you and Shinichi to this? I'm certain now that there's something."
So, on the Shinichi front, I don't know.
I just want there to be like a half goblin person, like that's high up in this. I don't know.
So if they're like, without prying too much into Shinichi's private thoughts, if there is something that might...
I will say, as of right now, the only thing that really ties Shinichi to this is she knew Amiko before all this started. So when Amiko's life was put in danger, that kind of put her on the path. There's nothing really beyond that she would share.
Okay.
She wanted to protect Amiko and avenge Amiko, which led her to your group, and now you have become like her clan. So whatever you guys are aiming at going forward, she will help you. But there's nothing deeper than that she would share.
Okay.
Geisen still looks kind of distracted, like looking at the robe. Kind of takes some steps and looks at the brief flame that comes out when he walks. I've been thinking for some time of telling you all something, and I guess in a way it ties me to this, but it's strange that fate would bring this robe to me. I think only one of you would have any inkling of what this might mean to me, and I'm still not sure if it's a good thing or not. I guess first a question. Do you all have something you fear? Do you fear darkness, enclosed spaces, anything like that? Do you have a fear that you have or that you have had and have overcome?
Can it be an irrational fear?
Absolutely.
Out of character, Tammy, have Grill to roll a perception check.
All right. Click. That was only a 9, unfortunately.
Okay, never mind. I fear continuing to lose everyone that I dare to love, that I dare to care about. Especially since I'm starting to trust and care for all of you. My mother was taken from me, my father was taken from me, my grandfather was slaughtered before me, my beloved was slaughtered. Enough of the list. I fear putting you on that list, if that makes sense. I know it's silly, it's crazy. But yeah, I understand a certain type of fear of loss.
I don't think I'd call that irrational. I think in a way it's just caring. I think you have a more powerful history, obviously, behind that, but really you've grown to care about us and you fear to lose us because of that. And I feel some of that myself. And that's why I've decided to tell you guys about something that I haven't told anybody outside of my home village. So I have a fear, and my fear is fire, which is why it seems almost twisted that I have found this robe that's perfect for me, except that it constantly reminds me of that fear. And it makes me wonder if maybe fate is telling me that I need to overcome this fear and stop letting it control me. There's a reason from my past why I fear fire so much. My village was all but destroyed, and in that destruction, I was pinned down in some rubble, and I was very badly burned. And he kind of glances at Grelda.
And Grelda puts a hand on his shoulder, like in a comforting sort of way, and not in like a overbearing kind of way.
And so this has left me scarred emotionally, my fear of fire, but also much more literally. And I haven't let anybody see that outside of my village until now. And he like reaches up and takes an amulet around his neck and pulls it off. And then I don't know. Is this something that you should describe, Sean? Or
I can begin. As Geisen removes the amulet and the necklace kind of like the clasp snaps and he pulls it away, you see a faint shimmer kind of go around him, and it's almost as if you're looking through clear water. Just all begins to ripple. And as the ripple goes away, you see the same Geisen standing before you, but the half of his body, you see very horrible burns, scars in the side of his face, in his neck, and even his hand just the burn marks are almost jarring when you see them, especially with how he has looked the entire time that you've known him up until this point.
Grelda, her hand on his shoulder, just grips a little tighter.
I appreciate that none of you have left or gotten sick at the sight of me. I haven't felt comfortable. What?
I said thank you, Tarnan, because, I'm seasick in general, but now I'm not, so we're good.
I can picture Grelda puking. It's the ocean. I mean, it's the river. It's the river. It's the river. It's not you. You're fine. You're fine. It's the water.
But you are the first people that I felt comfortable enough to show you the real me. I still fear that it could be a mistake, but I feel pretty confident that I have found acceptance in this group. So when my burns happened, the people left in my village helped craft this omelet for me, so that I could hide this from the world and try to live a normal life. And you may have noticed me sneaking away from time to time near a fireplace or a bonfire, that sort of thing. I have to keep it charged, which is another sort of sick twist of fate, that I have to charge it in the fire that I fear from what caused this.
Bill, your hand is raised, but Grelda would like to say, we've seen the real you this whole time.
Tarnan is patiently waiting for a pause.
Got some pauses.
Okay. His eyes are kind of misty, and he says, brother, and he actually drops to a knee and says, I know some of your pain. And he starts to unbutton his shirt, and he turns around and shows you on his back where you can see a large timber fell across it from about the top of the spine here down to his right hip. That's why I never bathed with you guys. That's why I never disrobed when we were near a stream to shower, to clean. I have some small understanding of what it must have been like for you. I'm not trying to take anything away from you, but that same bastard who murdered my beloved gave me that.
I appreciate you showing me that, and appreciate you empathizing with my situation.
Again, I don't mean to take anything from you, but thank you for having the strength to trust and share it with us. Obviously, I couldn't until now. Thanks for going first.
Thank you for giving me the trust that I felt I could then return. And with that, he slips the amulet back on.
And again, you see a shimmer, kind of, again, looking through water. And you see the Geisen you've been used to seeing over these past few weeks.
I think Shinichi would probably, come over and have some like soft moment, like a pat on the back. yeah, like that might help, be how it feels in the initial moment. But there's a sort of like reverence of like the warriors, because like she knows that like fire is a formidable foe. And to take such a wound from it and survive it, and to keep fighting it and push through it, I think she would have a good deal of respect for that. And
Can
Just
I
acknowledgement of like that's like you fight you've been fighting a foe with us that we didn't know about, and respect. But it did. Can you? Of course you can.
I feel like she would definitely feel all these things in like a very genuine way, but she would also be like,
Cool start, bro.
this is where a killer whale bit me.
And
They're there. This was a killer whale tooth. I feel your pain.
like I'm working on a song for this. I might put a verse in for you with fire stuff if that's okay. To honor
That's all my mammoth hair.
the struggle, like not at all downplaying it. She's so moved by what you're saying that she wants to work it into her ballad, not as like a main thing, but like put it in there too.
In a Tanishi way.
Yes, exactly.
Let me think about that, Sinishi.
I really do. I feel like of all the things we have accomplished, Sinishi taking a bite from a killer whale is probably the coolest star any of us has to share.
Yeah, seriously. And like, I can't wait to hear her ballad about it.
So completely out of character and out of context, it is awesome as a DM, like knowing all of your backstories. It's awesome to have seen like little trickles come out, but finally watching you guys like share them with each other. Because this is all shit that's been almost 3 years in the making. Little things eking out here and there of you guys letting each other know about these things. There's like seeing them all come spilling out is just awesome. I love seeing it.
Even just as a player, I like knowing that I myself have things that like I've built into the character that I'm just like holding back a little bit, but knowing that everybody else is doing the same thing and like seeing that it's delightful. I love you guys.
I love
about the time that we did the whole lassoing the floating objects in that one room. There was a time where a guy nearly died, and I applied a kit to him, and that's the point where Grelda actually saw that he was half scarred from like burn scars, and she just was like, well, if he wanted to tell us, he would tell us. It's no big deal. And so she's like literally never said anything, but the moment he showed up in like a fire robe, she was like, huh.
No, I do remember running around Lars's table and whispering that to you, Tammy.
Yes, I know. I was like, yeah, all right, okay, this is a thing I know, but
because Lars was doing death saving throws, and I remember Tammy like brought you back, and I was like, this is my chance, and I ran over like, let me give a hint. I have to give a hint.
Grelda would be like, whatever reason he has for hiding these, it's surely a good one. Why would I bring it up? And so it never became a thing because for like 2 years now, I've just known he's had fire scars.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long time to hold on to that.
I hate you guys.
Chris, that was probably like a week in the game.
Yeah, I know, right?
Thereabouts.
A little bit longer than that, but there was the point when we went into that building and there was the illusion of the fire engulfing the taxidermy animals or something, and then he left, and Grelda knew why, but like, and then there was another point where you tried to set fire to things, and he was like, you know what, I'm not here for this, and he left early, and no one noticed, so Grelda was like, oh, it's fine, of course, that makes sense.
All right, so it is 9:30. I need to take 5 minutes if you guys want to continue.
I need to pee.
I do too. That's why I was going to take 3 minutes.
How much longer does the group have in them? Is what I want to know. Like, are we talking?
Say it is a Sunday and not a Friday.
Yeah,
I know everybody has to work tomorrow, so
like 11. But
11 would probably be like my max limit.
Yeah, 11's my hard max.
I would say, why don't we go for 10:30? We'll take 5. We'll do another hour.
Because somehow got the lemon cakes, baby.
Cakes. All right, so
let's get on.
Anyway, so you are all still in your cabin, sharing this touching moment.
just to bring us back to reality, with this new discovery that Geisen has shared us, are any of us kind of confused why he tried to burn us alive in that one hallway?
I mean,
Icky almost died.
personally, like Icky feels like his affinity for setting other things on fire is a way of trying to cope with the times that he's been set on fire. So it kind of makes sense to Icky.
I do wish to point out the fire originated from the mob and not from us. Geisen did not start the fire. He simply greased the hallway.
This is true.
You may have noticed that Geisen has never casted a fire spell.
He hasn't. No, the fireball that set the hallway on fire, it was the magic user who pointed it at the grease. Like I said.
And I do wish to point out that by saying the magic user, Sean is saying me. I did this thing. It was Sean. It was the DM.
The DM, while inhabiting said character,
Decided
to cast a fireball directly below.
Which I have to respect, because I've always been a fan of killing it with fire.
And let's be honest, we're all fine now. Yeah. We all survived.
It worked out.
I did a great acrobatic thing, and I made a friend. It was great.
Holy crap, you're right. I'm fine now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go contemplate this out on the deck of the boat. You should check that out, girl. That's actually pretty cool being able to stand
I was
up
actually going to say, like, if this is how y'all feel all the time, this is incredible. Like, she's literally going to go to the deck and, like, go from, like, deckhand to deckhand and be like, is there anything I can do? Can I help? Is there anything? And they're going to be like, no, we're good. And she's just going to start, like, fighting shadows because she has this awesome new axe and, like, nothing to use it on. So she's just going to be like...
So I wonder, just, like, she may be much smarter than this, but so like Icky has been practicing on like the mast, right? Say Grella sees him doing this, and
oh no.
Luckily, this isn't Badger, and she's not going to flip a coin.
I'm tempted. Can I tell that Icky is not actually like? Are there no attacks landing on the mast?
Yeah, I'm not like Icky's like.
You can tell that he is practicing as opposed to actually trying to damage said mast.
And no one else seems like the mast has achieved some sort of sentience and is attacking the crew.
That is a fair assessment of the
mast is actually a mimic.
So I will say Grelda may take a moment to consider this, but then she will not help by attacking the mast.
So, a DM question for Geisen. When you're sharing the, like, what happened in your past, are you sharing the timeline, like, when this happened as well? How long ago, I guess I would ask.
Sure. I guess I don't remember. Is there some significance to that? I don't really remember.
This happened like a hair over 5 years ago. Is when the fire and the carnage all happened.
Ding.
And I will say, like, again, Tarnin's particular memory happened about 5 years ago. Icky, your pool happened about 5 years ago. So I would. The reason I'm asking if you would like say like this happened this long ago, is because this might trigger a couple of like, hey, this happened about the same time as like my thing.
Which if we've real quick, Tarnin and Icky have.
Yes.
You two have shared your timeline with each other.
So now we're aware. But we would both kind of be like.
Yes, Grelda and Sanishi would not, because they don't have anything that falls into that time frame. But both of you would hit the hey, like 5 years ago. We feel you.
So what do you say, Geisen?
Wait, what? Guys, sheriff said it was 5 years ago.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Okay. So yeah,
Hey,
we're all on
I
board.
thought I
there.
said that, but maybe not.
Okay.
So at this point, we've all kind of like you shared this, and we started to kind of disperse from the area where we met.
It seems like Grelda went up.
Okay.
Tarnin went up.
I'll say like like Shinichi probably like when I was just like, okay, well this has been really cool. I'm glad we're all learning about each other, and like she probably started playing a little bit. Or I'm sorry, it's a recorder, so it's like it's down here.
Well, it's a flute.
It's a flute. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So she starts.
It just sounds like a recorder when
when she's playing it so far.
She's been doing really well. Let's be honest. She did.
Yeah, no,
That's true.
So
Yeah, that's
but I do feel like she is sort of in the background going, "This is great," and then like is trying to play like birds while you're telling the story.
and I kind of feel like she's happy with that. She's like, "Yeah, I'm playing appropriate background music." So long as like nobody is like every now and again somebody is like, "Yeah, no, you're like," it's like music, great. She's doing that. But like so, like Icky would like everybody's kind of dispersing. It was like so, like hang back with Geist and say like so. You say this major, life-changing, traumatic event where things seemed to spiral out of control for you happened about 5 years ago.
That's right. Does that have some significance to you?
Yeah, so I know we've talked a little bit about some of the things that have happened in my life, but yeah, I've spoken with Tarnin about this, and now I think it seems extra relevant. It seems it's probably relevant for all of us here, but this is what happened to me about that same time. And so like quick review for anybody who doesn't remember. Icky went to Mountain Pool Place with friends in Arakokra land. Found anger water. People started killing each other. Icky snapped out of it, but when he came to pretty much everybody dead, his village blamed him for it. He's been
Exiled.
Yes, exiled since. So this whole anger water in general is very close to Icky's heart, and particularly violence being carried out in his name has been a thing. But it sounds like all of these major woes in our lives have been starting around this 5 years ago.
Well, thank you for sharing that with me. It is interesting that it was around the same time, and both of our villages were kind of devastated by these actions. Hard to know at this point if it's a coincidence or if there's some connection.
I agree. I think at this point, I mean, I trust you a lot implicitly. I have put my life in your hands, and it's come out better for it, or saved in plenty of instances, and I'll continue to do so. But I think our fates are intertwining for a reason, and I think that I hope that we can all move together towards a common resolution to these ills that have been plaguing us.
Certainly hope so too. I would drink to that, but I think somebody drank all of that beer.
Grelda always has celebratory beer on the available, so
And if nothing else, she can find where the closest beer is.
Always.
Let's assume she still has some on her because that's sort of the average. So she
In the
offers.
middle of the night, she's like, the captain's cabin is just getting axed in.
I know you got something.
But it's probably not as good as what I make, let's be honest. So if I've got any on me, she's going to offer that first.
Well, cheers to beers, friends.
Cheers to beers. All right, I guess, is there anything else you guys would like to do over the next couple of days journey?
So, at some point, Icky would approach Grelda. Honestly, I'm not sure whether or not he would keep this for a private moment. Yeah, no, he'd keep it for a private moment. Just be like, so hey, I hear that like Sasha belonged to your gran, which I understand to mean a matriarch of your clan. Is that like that's like Sasha's really impressive, and if that's where like I just said he would follow up on you and be like, hey, can you tell me more about your gran and the story of Sasha?
Grelda would respond to this with, oh, he's an Aarakocra, so he doesn't understand how dwarves work. We would launch into a several-hour monologue about dwarven traditions and how like things are handed down from dwarves to dwarves, and interspersed in there maybe some like tidbits of the fact that Sasha is special and Sasha chose me, but the fact that it was my gran who gave Sasha to me may sort of overshadow some of that and get very boring in the middle.
which is perfect.
Well, and additionally, this entire time, I'm just constantly supplying you with alcohol. Like, oh, we're still talking. Would you like another drink?
Yeah, would you like? He's like, oh, it's dry. Yeah, sure. Okay, let's go.
Basically. Basically.
So by the end of this, he's totally aware of everything new that Sasha can do, but he may not be aware that any of this is different from what Sasha did before.
Right.
And he is probably drunk.
Yeah. Definitely. If the Kraken is released now, Icky is going to be useless, except for drunken technique stuff.
And since Grelda's also drinking, although she does have a very high tolerance, there is definitely a point where she's going to be like, I noticed you attacking the masts.
It's just practice. They didn't do anything. They're just like, I mean, like, I don't want to. I talked to the captain about sparring with the crew, and we agreed we don't think it's safe.
Grelda reaches way up, and puts a hand on your shoulder, and it's like, if you want to attack the masts, I'm with you. But if you want to spar, I would love that.
Yeah, I mean, like, so like, you know, like he's like, yeah, because like, I mean, like the masts, like, they're solid. Like it's good to like weave around them. Like it's like your movements, Grelda. Your movements are important. It's important to be smooth. But so it's good to move around the mass, but like if you want to spar, I'll spar.
Oh, Grelda's, I'm up for sober sparring tomorrow, but I'm up for drunken sparring this moment, this exact instant.
Icky's game too.
Grelda's probably at disadvantage for everything that he does.
If you are drunk, you have disadvantage. You know what? Screw it. We'll have a little skirmish. Give me both of you roll initiative.
Okay, I have advantage
with disadvantage because you're.
But I have advantage on initiative, so I
you
get
just
regular.
yours is just a straight initiative. Yes, Tarnan.
At some point, one of the crew has to run by to the card game where Tarn is winning but doling back out equally on purpose, saying, "The bird has fight the little girl."
Well, that'll probably be a couple of punches in.
That's what I figured, but at some point, it's going to happen so Tarn can actually go on deck with his healing spells.
Icky has disadvantage, and Grelda is a straight roll.
Yeah, Icky's first roll was a 20.
And his second roll?
A 5.
5.
Oh, no.
What was Grelda's?
Grelda got an 18.
All right.
So Icky's, with initiative, Icky's at a 10.
All right, so Grelda, it is, give me, you're rolling for strength. It's not to attack, you're rolling, you roll a d20 and add your strength modifier to it.
Oh, is that just a strength roll?
Basically, yeah. Give me a d20 roll.
I'm using the digital dice because it's amazing. So it's just the little number next to the strength, right?
Yes, whatever the strength, the plus.
That's saving roll. Hold on.
No, it's whatever the plus is next to your strength.
There we go. Okay, that's different.
Your strength plus 5. So give me a d20 and add 5 to it.
Yeah, that's a 21.
That's a 21. All right, so your unarmed. No, I'm sorry. Your unarmed strike is plus 8.
Oh, it's plus 8. Am I unarmed? I would definitely not.
No, if you're sparring, I'm making the assumption that you guys are sparring unarmed.
Yeah.
So
okay, so
roll
it was a 16. It was a 16 plus 5 for that. But if it's a 16 plus 8, then let's just go with that.
All right, then I'm assuming that hits Icky, and you do 6 damage. So both of you kind of swaying back and forth. You're like, all right, let's spar. And Grella just walks up and just like uppercuts you right in the beak, like hard. No joke. Just like, all right, we're doing this. And just bam.
All right.
All right, so then it is Icky's turn.
All right.
So, Icky, give me an unarmed attack.
All right.
Which for you is a plus 8 as well.
All right, so that's 19.
And then 1d6.
My AC is 19, so
that hits. And then your unarmed attack is, because you have martial arts, it's actually a 1d6 plus 5.
Yeah.
Alright, so roll a d6 and add 5 to. I hope you guys are keeping track of your hit points here. Somebody might be unconscious.
Christ! I rolled a 5. So 10 damage.
So 10 damage. So Growler like uppercuts you in the beak, your head snaps, and you're like, that was pretty good! Whack! Right in her face, like straight right in her nose. And you just snap. And you're like you're holding your talons back, because you're not trying to hurt her. You guys are having fun. And all of a sudden, like, Grelda, your head just, like, your entire body snaps back, and you start bleeding, and you're like, oh, you laughed. That was pretty fucking nice. And then it's your turn.
How many key points are you going to use?
So, we'll find out. So, like, as soon as, like, you know, like the blood comes out, like Icky has a moment of, but then, like, you go.
okay. So
if Icky is done, then it would be Grelda's turn.
Grelda is not going to fly into a rage, because that was a decent hit, but it wasn't like a hard hit. You know, that was like a hit. That was like a friend hitting a friend hit, right? So,
she just called you soft, son. She said,
and it would be, I would say it would be after about round 3, when this has been going for like, 20, 30 seconds. People are like, oh shit, they're fighting. So we got a couple more rounds before like the word starts to spread.
okay, for context, Nate, what is your maximum HP?
My max is 69.
Okay,
I'm currently at 63.
Tarnan, what is your max HP?
60.
I'm at 104. This 10 hit was literally like, that was good. Let's keep doing this shit. Like, she is not mad. Like, you have not somehow activated and rage in her.
Tabby, you need to remember, Grelda, when she attacks, she gets 2, and I think so does Icky. So like for this next round, like you both get a couple of shots.
Yeah, like Icky only took the 1.
Yeah, so did Grelda the first time, but you get a second attack. So Grelda, you're up.
Icky's kind of got a Goku complex happening right now, where he's like, "Oh, we're gonna start off soft, right?"
Okay, so 19. Is
My
that hit?
AC is 19.
Wow. Okay.
That hits.
So, how do I determine damage again?
Whatever your unarmed strike is. One of your attacks should be unarmed.
6 bludgeoning?
Unarmed strike, 1d6 plus 5 bludgeoning.
Oh, plus 5? Where's the plus 5?
If you go under your actions, under all...
Yeah, I'm there, and I see a 6.
Oh wait, I'm sorry.
Punchy
I'm looking at Icky. My bad.
Oh, okay.
Grelda, unarmed strike.
It's just
Yours
6.
is just 6.
Yeah, so 6.
So 6 damage, and then you get your second attack.
All right. That is 24.
That hits.
Also
so
a
that's
6.
So that's 12. So as her head snaps back and there's blood pouring down, like you both have the this is gonna be fun look on your face. So she just like jabs quick right at your beak, and then just like roundhouse, she's like sets you up and then clocks you on the side of the face. And both of you at the same time, you're like, oh! As your head snaps to like.
I'm sorry. How much damage was that?
12.
But at the same time, like we're both like probably taking shots in between.
Well, you're both like swaying because of how like you're both like.
Oh man.
All right, so.
All right.
Icky?
So my Icky's shot here. It's like Icky, like he's reeling a bit. He's like, okay, like that was good. Like now I've got to match that. Like so this is starting to turn into a pissing contest for Icky, which is a shame for all of us.
Grella cannot piss very far.
There we go. Oh, okay, so that was I
Depends
blame
on all the bridges.
I blame Tychus for that roll, but with a +8, that's going to be 12. So that's going to that first shot's
gonna
going to
miss. So go ahead and roll your second.
The second shot is going to miss as well.
Oh, no.
That was a 3 that was rolled there. So,
All right, so your head like snaps to the side, and because you're drunk, like you're seeing your Grelda is starting to split into like 2.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like move back and forth. So you swing at
Oh,
one,
no.
and you realize it's like over her head. And then you swing at the second one, and you're like swaying a bit. So Grelda actually reaches up and like pushes your hand to the side.
Eh?
Do you want to do anything?
I think like Icky would definitely feel indignant about that, but he also like it's Grelda, so I don't think he would escalate this. He would just be like, "Oh well, I guess I'm flighty as shit." He wouldn't like spend any key points to do some extra shenanigans here. No.
I'm so glad you're not, because if I pick up Sasha, this is gonna turn serious real fast.
I know. Like this is like no. Like I'm, like I don't think like Icky is not competitive enough.
Competitive. That's what Icky would say.
Nor is he drunk enough to escalate this kind of like beyond where it's at now. On it.
All right,
like,
and it would switch back to Grelda.
It was going to turn into the Sandpoint 3 for a little bit there.
You know, I would say, even to the growing crowd surrounding us, we appear to be having a lot of fun. Like, no one thinks we had an argument or a disagreement. Like, I'm sure Icky was like, "Oh, good hit," and then Grella was like,
"Oh yeah," no, like he was taking those moves like, "Whoa, oh my God, the dwarf, she's got me."
And actually, it would be during this round that the crew members would start to realize what was going on and start to disperse and let everybody know. So you guys haven't actually drawn a crowd yet, because it's only been like 12 seconds.
Okay.
But you guys have only been like, all right, pop, 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 pop.
So at this point, like Icky's whiffed his shit. So I assume Icky would have the wherewithal to notice that there's a crowd that's beginning to grow.
It would be after this, like as this round is happening, you'd be starting to get people look at you. So it would be Grelda's turn.
All right.
She would do something, you would do something, and that's when you would start to notice that people are paying attention. Some people are gathering, some people are like shooting out to let other people know that there's a battle. There's like fisticuffs happening.
Yeah.
So Grelda at this point would probably be like, "Oh, don't take it easy on me just because I'm shorter than you."
5 people on a little girl.
Yeah. So Grelda is not only pleased that she did dodge those attacks, but doesn't want Icky to be taking it easy on her, and she assumes that might have been what happened. Because let's be honest, Grelda, Icky just killed a fucking dragon. So she assumes that if he wanted to, there could be way more to this battle. So she attacks.
All right.
Ooh, that's only only a 13.
That misses.
That's a 27. Jesus, that was a 19.
That hits.
Yeah.
It's still only a 6, though.
It
Like,
is
there's nothing
only a
bad.
6. Yep. So the first one, it's a jab to your face, and you actually like duck your head to the side. And you're like, ha ha! And as you duck your head to the side, that's when her other hand comes around and like pops you right in the jaw, right in the beak.
All right. All right. Well, his, like head snaps back around.
And by that point, that's when like Tarnan, you're below decks, like playing your card game, and that's when you start to hear the bird's fighting the dwarf. And then it would be Icky's turn.
First thought, oh shit, where's Sanishi?
Yeah, is Sanishi, like, furiously piping?
Well, yeah, like that's what I thought. I was like, initially, she's probably like up at like like the front of the boat, just like like wistfully piping away. But then, like as battle is coming, she probably is like kind of
You don't think she would joyfully, gleefully, in fact, join in the chaos?
I'm sure that's the thing. It's like I'm sure she would just dive right.
Oh
in.
yeah.
Especially after realizing that we're having a whole bunch of fun, she would dive right in.
She probably would use her axes, though, and not realize she's supposed to be unarmed.
See, I'm gonna say
It's hard enough to
that
reach
she
the flat of
is.
the blade. I'm gonna slap the hell out of you with my axes.
See,
What?
I'm gonna say she was at the bow of the ship, and she saw you guys kind of come, and she's like hopping in a circle around you guys, playing her flute in the best battle music she can come up with.
All right, I like it.
I feel like she's so focused on being a bard right now that might actually win out over people are having fun fighting.
Well, because she knows you guys aren't like. She knows there's not like an actual battle happening.
Yeah.
So it's just
I
like
don't
a
think
contest of
there's no way
strength.
there's any kind of like bloodlust between
Yeah.
us. It's like, even though I'm getting my ass kicked right now, we're having fun with it. So does that mean we both get bardic inspiration? Is that what's happening here?
Oh
Now
man.
let's Sanishi give it to us. What is happening to the boat? It's
I
flashing.
don't know. It's flickering.
The battle is so intense, you guys.
You might need to reload your webpage there, bud.
It's a killer whale!
Oh
Now
no!
that you've done it once, Sanishi can turn into a killer whale at will.
There you go.
Yeah, like Geisen just turns Sanishi into a killer whale.
We'll end this quick. All right.
You're
so,
a killer whale!
if
You're
you
a
guys
killer
are-
whale!
guys
Everybody's
are
a
still-
killer whale!
If you
I
guys
would
are
love
still
to be a
fighting,
killer whale,
Icky,
I'm
you're
not
up.
gonna lie.
All right, so Icky will, like can't quite take like those are like good hits, and he definitely respects Grella for them, but he can't kind of let things end there. So he's going to take another swing. Jesus, Icky is apparently drunk as fuck.
He still gets a second attack.
Well, what was
Yeah.
that?
The first attack whiffs like a motherfucker with a 13.
Okay,
Oh,
that
okay.
does whip.
Nope. You know what? We're just not going to use that die anymore because it's the third time it's rolled off the desk.
Yep.
Then nope. Jesus God, I am so glad that these rolls are happening in a fight like this.
Let's be honest.
5, so that's another 13.
Okay, so Icky loves being drunk, and Grelda has a very high tolerance. Let's just say that's what's happening.
Yeah, like that's got to be it.
I'm thinking that Icky is definitely feeling it at this point. So he does like 2 quick swings, and Grelda doesn't even move. She just like stares at him, and they go like right over her head. Like both of them like touch her hair a little bit. And he's like, whoop.
So
He's used to way taller opponents.
Icky takes a moment now to be like, God damn it. So he's going to use a key point.
Oh!
He's going to use a key point to oh god, this changed, didn't it? Yeah, because it's no longer 8 check boxes. Now there's like a plus minus thing in the UI.
Wait, what? I haven't looked at your.
Yeah, no, it
points,
like
yeah.
so for key points. It used to be like there were a number of check boxes for however many key points I had, but now it's a counter with a plus and minus on either side of it.
Oh wow, it is. Okay. So you gotta hit the minus and then confirm.
Yeah, hit minus and then confirm, which I've just done. So I'm using that key point to do another round of attacks. So it's 2 attacks.
2 attack.
We're using the 1 die that hasn't failed me yet tonight. And yet it rolls a 2.
Well, you've got 1 more coming, so just roll that one too.
Oh my word.
Hey, 20! I fucked Grelda up!
Oh man. Alright, roll, let me see, you're unarmed strike. Roll a 1d6.
Okay. That's a 4.
4? So you do 15 damage to Grelda. So you miss, and then you take 1 more, like, your left hand over her head, and Grelda just like, come on now. And you just like, right down on the top of her skull, you just like, bring it down. Because as she spoke, the 2 like moving Greldas kind of coalesced into 1, so you smashed her right on the top of the head.
Like you do.
Like you do. And it's Grelda's turn.
I'm trying to decide if that was enough to throw her into a rage.
Well,
I don't
you figure
think
that out.
so.
I will be right back. You figure that out really quick.
Okay.
Put a coin. Put a coin.
You know, actually, I think I will. Hold on. I have my giant box of D&D here, and in it, Sean has given me a coin that has a heads and a tails that are a 1 and a d20.
Oh yeah, I may have an idea of what you're talking about there.
And we're gonna roll that puppy.
Love that we all have these on hands. I love you guys.
All right. Coin. We have. That's the 20.
Yeah. And then there's the 1.
And then there's the 1, and we flip it. I'm sorry, Nate.
No, it's good.
That was the
It'll
20.
be alright, yeah.
That
It'll be
was
alright.
the 20.
Which means you just roll over and let Icky, be the big man here.
He's always the big man. He's just hopefully gonna be the pulped man in a moment. What can you do? The coin.
Yeah, no,
Besides
Alright.
Sean, Icky's dead.
He's not dead. But I did roll the coin that you gave me, Sean. The DM's coin. And it said Grelda flies into a rage.
Oh god.
So
Okay.
it's Sean's fault, is what you're saying.
I'm saying it's Sean's
It's
fault,
God's
exactly.
fault. That's right.
This
It
is
is
Sean's
God's
fault.
fault.
Alright, we fly into a rage.
Alright.
I literally, if I'm using these digital dice, I don't know if clicking the rage modifier does the thing it needs to right away.
It should.
But because it's Grelda, she always does the why don't I see it? I'm struggling here. I'm sorry. I'm used to using my little handwritten notes, but I'm not today. She does the attack that's the...
Oh, the grants advantage?
Yeah, exactly. So I have advantage, but then I also grant advantage against me.
That is reckless attack. That is under features and traits. So
It's somehow
when
not
you
under
make-
my action.
When you make your first attack, you gain advantage on melee weapon attack rolls using strength during this turn. Okay.
Are fists a melee weapon?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm still not picking up Sasha.
No, but you do gain advantage on them, and then Nate gets advantage against you.
Yeah. So, sorry. Okay, so I have flown into a rage.
Yep.
I don't need to move as my instinctive pounce.
No, but if you're using the digital dice, if you right click the +8 for your unarmed strike, you can click advantage.
Oh, that's amazing! Thank you. Okay. 22.
22, that hits.
Then 6. For the first one.
All right, so then roll your second one with advantage as well.
So I'm sorry, that was 6 damage.
6 damage.
Yeah, all I do is 6 total. 26! Woohoo!
That hits as well, so that's 12.
It was
So-
4 and an 18, by the way.
So Grelda, so after you like hit her in the head, or like you hit her on top of the head, and her head kind of goes down a little bit. You just like see Grelda go from like this is fun to like, oh no, you fucking didn't. And then she just brings both of her hands like to the side of your head, and just like both at the same time, just boom right on the side of your head.
Okay.
And
So-
like your ears start to bleed a little bit.
So
That's 12
was
damage.
When you guys are finally like beaten to a pulp, then all of a sudden we're gonna encounter some like
The Kraken.
dragon or enemy ship
The
or
Kraken.
other shit. The
Oh
real
yeah,
battle is gonna start.
it's gonna happen.
All right, so if Grelda's done, then Icky, you're up. And
So-
there is a crowd formed now. There is at least a dozen people, like kind of just they're like circling around watching you.
So how much damage? Like I took 6 damage initially. Did I take more there?
You took
You
another
took 12.
6, 12
Okay.
altogether that turn.
Okay.
But you have advantage on me on this next turn. And you
Okay.
aren't in a rage because you're not a barbarian.
Yeah, no, and at this point, like, Icky is to step out of RP for a moment. Like, Icky's just below half health at this point.
Jesus.
So he's like, okay, this has been fun, but it's about like I'm about ready to bow out, but with this crowd, I can't like Icky's ready to flourish a little bit, but he's like also ready to like he's not going to push this much further. So he'll go for one more attack
With advantage.
with advantage. 4.
Ouch.
That one will probably 15. 15.
Oh, that'll hit.
So 15 plus 8.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, that hits.
All right. So that's 4 plus what is it? 5.
I think
plus,
it's 5.
Yeah. Okay. So 9
Alright, so
damage.
9, but she's raging, so that's halved to 4 damage.
Okay.
And your second attack with advantage again.
Second. Jesus Christ. 12 or my God.
The 12 might still hit, though.
No. Yeah. So the 12 will hit because that's 20.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Alright, so you're rolling 1d6.
3 plus 5, 8.
8, so 4 more damage.
So Icky will then because we're kind of we're at a theatrical piece here. He'll use another key point to do another attack. Confirm, so down to 6. So we'll use a die that maybe isn't such a dildo. That one's a 19. I still have
You still have
advantage.
advantage. Yeah.
Okay, 2 19s. Do
Oh,
I get
there
a
you go.
double?
That does hit.
All right. 4 plus, so 9 damage there,
So half to 4. Okay.
and then a 1 against a 2.
So that does miss. All
Yeah.
right.
Well,
So. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I mean, yeah, like, so I miss on that, but so since I have key fueled attack, if you spend 1 key point or more as part of your action on your turn, you can make 1 attack with an unarmed strike or a monk weapon as a bonus action before the end of the turn. So I can do 1 more attack with that, yeah.
Read Flurry of Blows to me though.
Flurry of Blows. After you take an attack action on your turn, you can spend 1 key point to make 2 unarmed strikes as a bonus action.
You only get 1 bonus action a turn, so your
Bonus-
Flurry of Blows is... Yep.
We had this conversation last time.
Yep.
Fair.
So I don't know if there's any other things you can spend your key points on that don't take a bonus action. Like, I don't know if Stunning Strike or whatever they might be.
There are things, but
You could just fly up in the air above her reach.
Icky wouldn't be laying those blows down on Relda.
So Icky, so after like the double hand on both sides of the head, Icky like jabs you twice in the face and then actually like kneels down and takes you 1 shot right in the face, like at eye level. And as your head snaps back, that causes him to miss a second one. And it would be Grelda's turn unless Icky is going to do anything else.
No, Icky at that point is gonna like make an exaggerated like swagger. And then like maybe like look around the crowd and then wink. And now it's Grelda's turn.
All right. Where are Tarnin and Geisen?
I don't know, where are Tarnin and Geisen at this point?
Are we there yet?
You could be if you wanted to be.
Yeah, I think by this point...
Hanging out, observing.
Absolutely there. Just like
And Tanishi is
What
actually like
is?
there is a crowd of observers kind of circling around you guys, and Tanishi is just outside of them, still circling around the outside, playing her like battle flute.
Battle Flute, yes.
Yep.
I really feel like this is very Sanishi. Like, she's just all in on this bard thing. Like, she wants to join in, but she's
focused.
the battle that she's giving is more important.
Well, as a soldier and a fighter, she recognizes the need to get this aggression out, so she doesn't want to interfere, but she wants to help hype up the moment as a bard.
Yes.
So yes, you both are there watching.
Yep.
So I guess if you're not going to do anything, Grelda will attack again. But if you're going to say something, you have a moment.
Nope. Go ahead.
All right. And I do feel like it would be clear to everyone involved, except for the soldiers, pirates, seamen, sailors. They won't know, but everyone else will know. Okay, well, I've never seen Grelda do anything without Sasha, so clearly this isn't real.
Well, I would think everybody would be able to tell that like neither of you is really like pissed off aggressive. So
Except I flew into a rage. I'm a little bit on the edge.
I would say that the crew would still be able to tell this isn't like an oh my god we better separate them because somebody's gonna kill somebody, as a more like maybe they just like somebody said something that pissed somebody off, so they just need to get this out. So nobody's gonna interfere as of yet.
All right, so I'm gonna say there that probably what happened is Grelda's nose got kind of kinked out of joint a little bit, like kind of half broken, but you know she's a dwarf, so like whatever. And so she's just like crank, and then like yeah, and then we go at it again.
All right. Good.
Obviously, it's going to be another. What's the word I'm looking for?
Relentless attack.
Thank you. Yeah.
And you remember now with Sasha when you do your you aren't using Sasha. Never mind.
No, I'm not using Sasha.
Never mind.
So we got a 22 there.
That hits. So roll your second attack.
It's just 6. It's a 6.
Yep.
Second attack is 21. Hey.
That hits as well. So that's another 12 damage to Icky.
5.
It's 12 total damage.
Yes.
Yeah,
12
total damage.
6 and 6. So as Icky, like, he kind of bends down and, like, jabs you in the face and stands up, and as he stands up, you snap your nose back into place. You're like, yeah! And then just pop, pop, right in his belly, like, right in his suplex. And just, like, it knocks the wind out of Icky temporarily for a second.
She definitely, by the way, at this point, like, literally assumes that the amount of health that she has and how healthy she feels is how everyone else feels. And that is not true, but she doesn't have, like, a concept of the fact that Icky is maybe not got as much health as her.
What is Icky down to?
Icky is down to 21 out of 69.
I'm at 67
You can still
of
take it out.
104.
Then,
I know-
unless Grelda wants to do anything else, it would be Icky's turn.
I feel like my bonus action was the whole cranking the nose and the ha, so I'm good.
What's Grelda down to?
Only at
Like
67.
95? What?
67 of 104. I began at a much higher plane than anyone else.
That poor bird. He never had a prayer.
No, he does. He's using key points. Grelda is not using a weapon, and his claws are weapons.
Icky has given up 2 opportunities for extra damage.
He has, for sure. Grelda's giving up every opportunity for extra damage.
So, but he's not having a good time with it. I mean, he's having a great.
It is Icky's turn.
So at this point, like Icky, let me check really quick to see if there's a particularly appropriate
Disengage action.
not necessarily disengage.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, Sean, how many hit points did that dragon have?
I would need
Not
to double check.
enough. The answer is not enough.
Apparently not.
Clearly not. And clearly the dragon should have made friends with us instead of being a dick. Like, let's be honest.
I'm sure that was his primary focus.
Nate's looking for a thing. I can see this look of concentration.
Well, I was like, I realized like, oh, maybe I could have done like, no. It was like, I was thinking about doing something fun that wouldn't be necessarily like really aggressive.
Yeah, it's like we're sparring, but nobody wants to lose. How do you do that?
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out like if this is the moment where I try to do one more big thing to like be grandiose about it, or just bow out gracefully.
178.
Or does okay. Or does Tarnin or Geisen do something to defuse?
Apparently not.
Apparently not. They have the choice every turn for 6 seconds.
He's been thinking about it, but you guys don't seem like overly hostile towards each other, right?
Mm-hmm. I would say that's true.
That is true.
Grelda may not seem to be completely in control of her faculties, but she's still using fists.
So Icky is going to take one more swing here.
Okay, he has advantage.
Do it.
Still.
Yep. So the 5 isn't a great roll. That's not going to connect with anything. We'll see if 12. So a total. Yeah, that's 18 or 20 or not 18,
Oh.
20, right?
Okay, because he
20
doesn't,
hits.
but 20 does hits, yeah.
So 20
Let me double check. Yes, it is 20. So 20 will hit.
1d6
with-
plus 5.
I just
Alright,
want you to know I'm not using a card in this battle against Icky.
I hope you guys don't.
I am really tempted. But I rolled a 5, so that's going to be 10 damage.
Okay, so that's 5 damage on Grelda.
Okay.
And then with that, I'm going to use one more key point for a key fueled attack. If you spend 1 key point or more as a part of your action on your turn. Oh wait, no. So I need to.
You need to
So
spend it on something.
Right. So that was all right. So that was the one of the. All right. So I'm going to using a key point to do another attack, and then I'll follow it up with key fueled attack. Unless this goes
Wait.
well.
Wait. Before you do that, If you use a key point to do your flurry of blows, that is your bonus action, so you can't use your bonus action.
So how does he use a point as part of his action?
There are key points. There are things you can spend key points on that don't take your bonus action. Stunning Strike is one. I know there's a healing one. You would need to pick one that doesn't use your bonus action to have the effect happen.
I'm going to go with Stunning Strike.
Alright. Then what
does that mean the last 5 didn't happen, or is that like an addition on the 5?
No, when he strikes, he spends a key point to make the target stunned. So you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
All right. It looks like I do not have advantage on that. So
I don't believe so. No.
20.
That works.
Is it 12 plus 8? I have 8 on a Constitution saving throw.
I will say, Icky, since that doesn't use a bonus action or anything like that, you can do as many of those per turn as you want.
What?
This is Stunning Strikes, really?
What? Did he just keep trying
it? With every attack, it spends a key point doing it, but it doesn't take a bonus action or anything to do a Stunning Strike, so with every attack, he can spend a key point to attempt it.
Okay. Fair enough.
So, I mean, you could do 2 attacks.
Constitution saving. I'm just saying, a plus 8.
You could do 2 attacks, do Stunning Strikes on both, like spend 2 key points on both of those. You could spend a key point on a Flurry of Blows, and then spend 2 more key points on Stunning Strikes on both of those in one turn. You would burn through most of your key points. But you
But what are we doing? We're not like an
Exactly. I'm just
if
saying.
The Kraken attacks, we're screwed. But sure.
No, and like for right now, I think they're just like using that 1 key point is enough, and then
so you do get your second attack.
The key fueled attack. So we're gonna go with that. 6 on the one, 2 on the other. God, I am rolling like. I am so glad that I'm rolling like this against you rather than like.
And while your character's drunk. Like, it's an in-character roll.
It is.
It is.
You just killed a fucking dragon, and no one is doubting Icky at this point.
Everybody at this point, everybody.
I'm kind of starting to.
So Icky does since I'm assuming everybody has seen Serenity, Icky does kind of like bend around Grelda and like hit her in the back and kind of like do the twist, and he's like, ha ha! Because he expects you to be stunned, and you kind of turn to look at him, and that shocks him. So when he tries to jab you, he's like leaning back, like, "Oh shit, it didn't work."
Great reference, by the way. Thank you.
And that would make it, unless you have anything else.
Yeah, no, and like Icky is going to over exaggerate. No, kind of moment. At this point.
All right. Does anyone else do anything?
Geisen just casts message to talk to Grelda. It says that don't kill the bird.
Shinichi increases the with which she's playing her battle music.
The more hits that happen, the more hit points that drop off, the more intense her music gets.
Is she dancing around like Ron Burgundy? Like,
oh yeah,
I guess there's no tabletops.
Like totally.
But...
So you would see like at the at the bottom of the screen, it would just say like Shinichi bards more intensively every time somebody hits.
Like bardicism.
Bards intensifying.
Bards intensifies. Yes. I will say the message does reach Grelda, because Grelda's not in an actual fight, and her rage is just sort of based on, like, I took a really hard hit once. Mm-hmm. So she's probably gonna, like, snap out of it a little bit and be like, oh shit, we're just fighting, and, like, he's maybe not looking so hot, but he just did this super over-dramatic thing. So Grelda's gonna be like... And let's be honest, Grelda's not great at, like, acting. Like, her performance is +0. But maybe everyone's super involved, and maybe they're just gonna buy it or whatever. But she's gonna be like, "Ha! I see your attack is as strong as mine." And she's gonna like wipe the blood down her nose, like not as like a trying to wipe it away, but trying to make it look bigger.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like
exactly.
war paints?
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. So, she's no longer raging.
Okay.
She has unraged as a result of a very nice message from a friend. But she is still going to attack again because, like, how do you stop this? But she's not going to do it in a rage. So she can only attack. Well, she can attack twice, but she doesn't have advantage on those. So 17 does not hit.
Nope.
15 does not hit. She
No.
doesn't hit on either of these.
So Icky like tipsy sways out of the way of both of them. He's like, oh, wah, wah.
Yes. By the way, I love the idea of the wing fully thrust up.
Oh
in,
yeah,
like
the
a
whole
super
thing.
dramatic pose.
he's totally like kabuki acting this.
Yes. So I did not have an advantage on either of those rolls, and they did not hit. And Grelda has used her bonus action to try and like ham it up that we are having strong fights now.
All right then, Icky.
All right. So at this point, like, does Icky still have any alcohol on him?
On him? No, I don't believe so.
No, I think he got most of it from Grelda.
Most of it's in him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It is in him.
Okay, is there any like Grelda, have you placed any like is there any visible alcohol
I
in
would say you can see a couple of the people around you with like they're holding their beer, their ale as they watch the fight.
All right, cool. Perfect. Because I would like to then
Sleight of hand. Make it a sleight of hand.
He's not sneaky. He's not trying to sneak anything at this point.
I have just sleight of hand. Fuck you. I'll try to like grab a drink out of one of the spectators' hands.
Give me a. You know what? Give me a sleight of hand check to see if you can grab it before they can like realize what's happening.
No! Can Grelda help him? Can Grelda help?
No,
I rolled-
Grelda can't help him.
I rolled a 7,
Okay.
so sleight of hand plus 5 is 13.
Oh, okay.
13. Well, I would say like you're kind of like tipsy swaying, and you reach out and you grab one from from someone standing next to you. They kind of realize it and they try to pull it back, so you end up spilling like half of the ale onto the deck. But you like wrench it away from them, and there's probably like a quarter of it left by the time you actually get it
Okay.
in front of you.
But
So
no
that-
one can know that. Only he knows that.
Yes.
Yeah. So in that case, I take it
Hmm?
and I thrust it directly at Grelda. I
Just hit her in the nose.
and then I just fall back. Like land on my back, just like completely spread eagle.
Ah!
Uh,
And just let out a
everybody in the crowd just kind of starts to look at each other because they're used to seeing like fights like this that end up with somebody unconscious or like barely able to like beaten to a pulp, and they just kind of look at each other like
at which point I just go Gee, adds a little extra flourish. Sure.
Please tell me it's Grelda's turn. Is it Grelda's turn?
it can, yes.
Grelda does the same thing.
Now everybody in the crowd looks visibly like confused, like they have no idea what's going on, and they're like whispering to each other, and they're just kind of shaking their heads. And they all just start to turn, and disperse. And
I just
Grelda, I'm sorry,
Lost all of
Sinishi goes from playing a battle song to starting to play like a funeral dirge.
Okay, but there's like 6 seconds in a round, right? So
Yeah.
immediately upon seeing this, Grelda does the same thing. My sleight of hand check was a 22.
What were you trying to do with your sleight of hand?
Steal a beer, same as he did.
Oh, okay. Then yes, you actually got a 3/4 full beer. So you actually were able to chug more alcohol.
Yeah, I totally throw that back. And then I also spread eagle back on the deck.
As soon as Grelda hits the deck, that's when Sinishi switches from the battle music to the funeral song.
And Grelda just shouts out as she falls back in like a slow motion thing, fuck away.
See, I can see Grelda like thinking it's slow motion, but she's drunk. So
Oh,
it's
no.
actually like normal motion.
Yeah,
She's
it's
like,
normal motion for sure.
"Fuck off."
But everyone else just hears fuck away!
Yes.
Yeah, no, straight up.
All right. So Grelda and Ikki are laying on the deck. The crowd has dispersed, and I think that's where we'll.
And the moral of the story is, family's a bitch.